It was not luck. It's not luck that the next person won the Nobel Prize in Peace. This is my take, like the person I'm about to cover in this video. My take on the Nobel Prize in Peace, Nelson Mandela, 1993, one half. I'm filming this over 30 years later on Tuesday, 10 September 2024. I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle / Bergen. And I'm going to talk through the Nelson Mandela, he, him, his of South Africa, Nobel Prize in Peace, year of award 1993. My description here is a bit different than their description from the Nobel Prize. Yes, it is. So, yeah, he won the Nobel Prize in Peace, one half of the prize, 50%, for his work helping restore the original peoples of South Africa, Native Africans, his peoples, to political power, peacemaking. I provide my take / perspective on his award and contextualize it in terms of the United States of America having no president nor vice president equivalent. No Native American president nor vice president. Yeah. So if the closest we've gotten in the history of the United States of America is what John McCain of the Navajo Nation back in the 2008 presidential election. So he has ancestry to the Navajo Native Americans. And so had he won the 2008 presidential election, it would have been like freedom in some form for the Native Americans and original peoples of the United States of America. It would have been actual racial progress. What happened instead was a backwards in the brain invasive species got elected instead. And I think that backwards in the brain invasive species won a prize for like racial progress. And I was like, that's not progress. That's the opposite of progress. It's somebody who denies the existence of Native Americans. And we now have the federal holiday system in the United States of America that reflects just how oppressive Africans in America are towards us Native Americans. I'm part Native American. I'm also part Norwegian and other European things. And so I am bringing that up here because I lived in South Africa in 2012 and attended Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University in Port Elizabeth, which was that where he was born? I'm not a fan of the Nobel Prize for stuff like this, where he only got one half of the prize. He should have gotten the whole freaking thing. Okay. Here. Right. And so there's like, and it's like one of those things where like me being Native American and me being Native Norwegian, which is like Sami and before, right? Old Norse and before, let's do that. Something people understand, possibly. The Nobel Prize, people like to say that the guy, Alfred Nobel, was Swedish, and was like, well, he wasn't Scandinavian by ancestral origins, and Nobel Prizes such as this one are proof of that. And the people who are in charge are not of Scandinavian ancestral origins, nor do they in any part choose awards to represent us, right? If they had, he would have won 1 out of 1, and the prize in peace would have gone to John McCain of the Navajo Nation, right? So there's some really obvious that they're not Scandinavian in any part, like by ancestral origins, nor do they really claim to be. But they're also not Native American. So I've said previously, maybe they moved to like Florida and Fort Lauderdale, right, out of Sweden. Because I was like, well, maybe they should just go to Australia. They're criminals. Or the Netherlands, where Sir Alfred Nobel is actually 100% Dutch by ancestral origins. So there's, which was what, the other half of this award went to a Dutch guy. So sometimes the proof of the ancestral origins of somebody are rather simple. And this is one of those words that reflects it. So while I disagree with like this, the award is not meant to represent us Scandinavians or us Native Americans, right? People like me. So there's that. It's a reminder of, what's the true significance of this prize then in my own life story? He's a human, Nelson Mandela, who transcends the Nobel Prize, right? It's a way of saying Nobel Prize is not that great of a prize, right? And this is one of those where it kind of like really firmly implants like people can be superior to prize. There's a lot of people who they're inferior to the prize, but there's also a lot of people who are superior to the prize and transcend the prize itself. Right. And Nelson Mandela, for me, is one of those. I know I attended Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University in person in Africa, right? So there's, yeah. There's that. Got to carry on a person's legacy from the native people's perspective, right? People are like, oh, that's discriminatory. I'm like, are you an African in the United States of America? Then your voice doesn't matter because I'm the Native American here. Right? Just because you're a racist, right? The number one thing, so if somebody says that there's an equivalent or something like this has been done in the United States of America and it has not been, right? They're just being racist. Right? Just because somebody's African doesn't make them a Native American to the United States of America. It just makes them have either their shiver brains or they're racist, or they're both, and or it's true, right? Just grow up. Yeah. All right. So that's not necessarily you, right? Just those people, those bad people. But them. Okay, that's my take on the Nobel Prize in Peace, Nelson Mandela, 1993, 1/2.